My question for you is, how would you design a gaming app for elderly people?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, before we get started, I just have a few questions I want to ask you, make sure I understand this question. So the first one is, for my role, I would assume I'm a PM. Am I working for a big company like Facebook or Google, or I'm working for a start company where I should consider some constraints in terms of time and budget?
Right now, I think you could have the assumption that you don't have any resource restraints, but we don't have any background information about whether you work for a large company or a startup.
Okay, cool. So I don't have any constraints. Yeah. So in terms of like the market, like is there any particular market you want me to aim to? Like, are we aiming like to a specific region, like the North American, or are we aiming to like the LA people who live in cities, or like worldwide LA people?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now we only have our target as elderly people, but we don't have information about which area or which location you want to target. So feel free to make assumption yourself.
Okay, yeah, cool. I would assume we are design this gaming app for like maybe the North American market for now, and maybe the next level we can maybe release it to worldwide. Yeah. And as far as I know like there's some like gaming, there are like so many different games on the market. I don't know like there's one specific game like aimed for LA people maybe. So is that okay for me to assume for this case, our goal is to kind of maybe increase user adoption, or like gain more user acquisition, increase market share? Is that the goal okay with us? Or you have any other goals you want me to consider?
Yeah, sure. I think it is understandable to target user adoption. I just want you to have one thing in mind. So user adoption or like user acquisition is more like a growth metric, but we do want our product to be valuable for elderly people.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's also my next question. I was gonna ask you if there is anything you want me to focus on in particular. So I would say like design like a very like a quality or very valuable game for LA people, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, cool. So I'm gonna take a minute or so to kind of jot down my thoughts, and then I'll get back to you, okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, I like because I'm not very into games, but I would just assume I want to like kind of have three different user segments. So like think about this situation, like for elderly people, maybe like their children, their kids have already grown up, they have built their own family. So in most scenario, the elderly people will feel bored, and maybe they cannot do like some outdoor activities like when they are young, maybe they will go swimming, they will go hiking or like skiing. But now, because like they have some like health problem, for example, they may not do those exercise they used to do. So they may have to stay at home. But so in that case, I have kind of three kind of different user segments in my mind. So the first one is for some elderly people, they may want to have a game, they can have fun instead of just stay at home, maybe do house chores. They can play this game and have fun and enjoy their like kill some time. And that's the first segment. The second user segment I have in my mind is like for some elderly people, they want to have a game to play with friends or make new friends. So for this kind of user group, I think their main purpose is they want to have a tool or have a platform to kind of social connect with their friends and making new friends, to still like keep socialized. And the third user group, user segment I have in my mind is for some elderly people, they may feel like they want to exercise their brain. Maybe they get older, they want to still keep like active, their brain active, or they may want to learn some new knowledge to keep more than like to keep latest to keep up to speed with the world, what has changed the what has been going on with the world. They may still want to have those kind of information. They don't want to feel out of date. So that are three user segments I have in my mind. Does that sound okay for you?
Yeah, I think you basically do the user segmentation based on their need. So how about the user that probably have more than one pinpoint?
That is a very great question. Because I didn't break down the elderly people, because I was thinking maybe there are like some disability users and the disability elderlies, and some people may be like physical healthy. So in that case, I don't want to I want to rule out those disabilities because I feel like maybe they are not that into gaming. So for example, if you are like sick, pretty sick, or like you cannot move your body, you are physical disability, you may not like that into gaming stuff. So that's the reason why I want to rule out those kind of like different like maybe small portion scenarios. I just want to focus on some elderly people. They are healthy and like they didn't have like maybe some like heart problems. They can live a decent life, so they don't have to worry about what to eat, or like they don't have money, so those kind of stuff. So that's why I want to focus on like smaller the group is like healthy elderly people, and they still have like some kind of income or retired salary. Is that solve your questions?
Okay, so basically you want to target users who um are still healthy and they probably live alone and they don't have any financial problems.
Yes, correct.
Okay, but that didn't answer my question. So my question is, what if, let's say there's a group of elderly people that probably like meet all your requirements, and at the same time, they do want to have fun, kill time, and also they want to social with their friends. How do
Yeah,
you, yeah,
that's actually a great question. I would say like the focus is a little bit different. So for example, if you are like a person who really love video games, you will spend most of the time like playing this video game, like unlock like different levels and then maybe gain more points and those kind of gamification. We can design this app, design this game to have like more gamification features. But if you want to play it, like if your goal is making new friends, play with friends, so maybe we will twist our features to have some like more interactive features. Maybe we'll have a chat box, you can chat with friends, or we can have an invite feature. You can invite your friends to join this game with you. So I would say like if they're like the original goal is a little bit different, the like the way we design this game is a little bit different.
Okay, so basically these three needs you have are the three focuses you want to direct a product, but it doesn't necessarily to be like if you just focus on games for fun, you don't have any social elements.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So if these three user segments is okay for you, I want to kind of do a little bit prioritization on that. So the way I'm gonna prioritize is based on our goal, which is to like gain more user adoption. So I feel like the second and the second user segment will help us to increase user adoption. For example, if one LA person playing this game, he or she might invite all her or his friends to kind of download this game and play together. So in that way, they can socialize together and still hang out together. So that will kind of help us increase our goal, increase the user adoption. So that is so I'm gonna combine it with our goal. So that and also the impact. So I feel like if we can have like more user adoption, more market share for this gaming for this game, we will have more impact in this industry. And maybe we can, in the next or third level, we can aim to maybe increase user engagement and maybe to aim to monetization. So I'm gonna prioritize the second user group, which is play video games with their friends for this outlet group particularly. Does that sound okay with you?
Okay.
Okay. So if that is okay, that is good. I'm gonna do like brainstorm some like pinpoints for this specific user group, and then I'll get back to you. Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, just bear with me for a second. I'm still kind of collecting my thoughts. I'll be ready in a minute. Yeah. So let me just quickly share my screen. I'm still collecting my thoughts, but I want to share the kind of the three pain points I have on my mind. So the first one, I feel like for these LA people, sometimes it might be hard for them to understand very complicated game rules or like even the policies. For example, for some young people, they play some video games and like the rules is so complicated. And sometimes even for me, I can understand it. So I feel like it what happens to like most of LA people, they may not that interested in to understand very complicated, very difficult game rules. Maybe for this, because for this user segment, for this user group, they may just want to find a platform, play this game with their friends or making new friends. So having very difficult or like challenge game is not what they want. So that is the first pain point I have in my mind. The second one is I feel like sometimes because for these LA people, when like maybe 50 or 60 years ago, when they were kid, the games they played before is no longer popular now. So maybe there is no kind of game on the market will have the game they used to play as a kid. So I think maybe they may prefer to play the game they used to play when they were small, when they were kids. And yeah, so that is the second pain point I have in my mind. These like LA people cannot find the games they used to play when they were small. And the third pain point is I know like for LA people, for example, if the LA people want to hang out, they will prefer like in person or phone call. So for a game like for this game, it might be hard for them to get engaged together. So keep engaged. For example, maybe a group of 5 LA people play the game together. Maybe after 10 minutes or 20 minutes, maybe 3 of them already lost interest. So we need to the pain point for them is they may lose engagement, like lost interest in very quickly. So I feel like maybe we have to design something very simple and easy that will help them and maybe keep them engaged. So in terms of these three pain points, does that looks okay for you?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm gonna do another prioritization based on, sorry. So I'm gonna think about the solutions and then I'll get back to you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so I have kind of 3 solutions in my mind now, which I already have here. So I feel like for the pain points, we kind of have 3 different solutions. The first one is in terms of the game, we're gonna provide it, we're gonna design, it should be very easy, straightforward, and the timeline of playing each game shouldn't be too long. So we have to really kind of filter some like very easy, quick games for these LA people. And the second solution I have in my mind is we can kind of do some research and see what kind of old games were trendy before, and maybe digging out what, like maybe 50 years ago, what this kind of elderly people was your grandparents play at that time. And maybe most of those games are in person, they will play together in person. So maybe we can find a way to digitalize this kind of in-person games and make them as like kind of video games. And third solution I have in my mind is we can have some like interactive feature to kind of maintain the engagement of these elderly people. By that, I mean, we can have like video call feature. So when this group of when elderly people play this game together, they can make phone call, join the phone call together. So they can, at the same time, they can chat to each other and play together. So in that way, I think we can kind of help the elderly people to get engaged, and they will not feel alone facing the screen. So that are the three solutions I have on my mind. Do you like, does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, I have few questions.
Yeah, definitely.
The first one is, so what is the game? Like, what do you want to design?
For this one, yeah. So I don't have a specific kind of game in my mind now. I'm just like kind of have some like criteria for the games. So we have to make sure the games shouldn't be too complicated. We should design something very simple, very easy, and the timeline shouldn't like maybe longer than 30 minutes or like 40 minutes. So that is kind of the criteria to help us filter the games we're gonna design.
Okay, so are you going to talk about the game rules and how to play the game later on?
Um, yeah, but if you want me go to that solution, we can. But my idea is based on the kind of the goal we set before, and I was thinking maybe we can prioritize this third feature. But if you prefer the first one, we can go deeper into the first one.
I the problem is that I don't see like conflicts between the first one and the third one. And yeah, I do want to know like how to play the game, and because you are designing a game app, right? So we need to visualize the game. We need to know what the game is for. So keep in mind that part. And the second question I have is, so why do you want to design a voice call feature?
Yeah, definitely. Because I think the third pain point I mentioned before is like for elderly people, maybe I didn't explain very clear. So I'm gonna rephrase my kind of doubt. So I feel like for elderly people, they may get distracted very easy because maybe when you get old, you like maybe you hear things not very good, and you cannot focus on like one thing for a long time. So they can be distracted very easily. And so I feel like if we want the elderly people to engage in this game, we have to make sure they will get engaged, they will focus on this game. So by that, I think we can have kind of solution is to have more interactive features. So we can have maybe a voice call feature. So whenever the elderly people join this game, they will kind of start the phone call. So for all the other participants in this game, they can talk to each other, just like they are having a call together, but in the same time, they will play this game together. Yeah, so some interactive features like this, I think will help the elderly people to kind of maintain engagement.
Why do you think they are easy to get distracted?
Yeah, for sure. Because I just took my grandparents as example. For example, if we watch TV together, they will maybe fall asleep after maybe 20 minutes very easily, or maybe after 5 minutes they will think, okay, I forgot this, I need to do that, or like they just get distracted very easily. And I think for them it's kind of hard to like sit there and focus on one stuff like on high level for long term. Maybe they will get tired very easily. So that's kind of my assumption why I feel like elderly people will get distracted. Just compare the elderly people with maybe young teenagers or like college students. So that's how I come up with my assumption.
Okay.
So I will go deeper into the first solution, how we're gonna design the easy and quick games, and yeah, I'll come back to you. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like maybe for this first solution, I didn't explain maybe very clear. So maybe you have some like doubts. So by the easy and quick games, I feel like the reason why I want to kind of have this solution is um, take me, like even for me as an example, sometimes when I play some video games, it's so hard for me to understand all those complicated like different rules, and especially if as like a first time player, it's really hard for me, and maybe I will lose the interest, and I will just not playing that game. So I really want to design some like this game as a very quick, easy, and very it's like very user friendly to like the first time player, especially the elderly people. So that's why I came up with this solution. So just want to ask on this solution. So can we design some like very easy, quick games, user-friendly games? Is we can have like the challenge level. So for each for the game, maybe so my idea is for this game we'll have some like small like maybe different options. We'll have the challenge level. If you are first player, you can choose level 1, and that will kind of give you the easiest kind of the task you need to finish. If you play it maybe multiple times, you can choose maybe a harder level or level up. You can choose level 3 or even level 5. We'll have like a more challenging task for the elderly people to unlock. And or we can also have like different categories based on the elderly people's interests. We can have like different categories of games they can choose, or we can like for if we have like different small video games, we can have like a quick tutorial video game that will help these elderly people to understand how they can kind of play this game, what they need to do. And in that way, they will have an idea what they're gonna face, we're gonna experience, and that will kind of keep them interested in the game. I'm not sure if that will help you understand what I'm trying to say.
Can you maybe talk about, I know within 20 minutes, it's very hard for you to design the whole game, but could you tell me like what is the game? Like what simply like game rules do you want to design, or like what kind of game are you thinking about?
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I didn't get it very clear. So my idea is this will be kind of a platform where we'll have some like different mini games you can choose, and these mini games we can design based on maybe what the elderly people used to play before, or we can maybe just based on what is trending on the market. We will have kind of small like mini games the elderly people can choose. So this will be a platform where these elderly people play around or socialize with other like their friends or making new friends. This will be a kind of community platform for the elderly people. By playing these different mini games, they will kind of socialize together, making new friends. So that is kind of my goal. And in terms of the solution, I was thinking maybe we can have like the challenge level for each game to help the LA people to choose. We can have like categories to help them to choose which kind of category what kind of game they are interested, or we will have like the tutorial video, a quick video, maybe just 30 seconds to help these LA people like get familiar with this kind of games, how they should play it.
Okay, got you. So you want to have a game platform, and there are
Yes,
maybe like mini games on that platform. So
yes,
my
correct.
another question is, so are you designing the mini games, or do you want to have third parties developing the mini games?
That is a very great question. So I feel like if we have the resources, we can kind of design. If we have the time, resources, and budget, we can do some research and see what the LA people used to play, and we can digitalize, visualize those games, and maybe we can make them as very simple kind of mini games on the platform, or if they're very good, very kind of very good already existing mini games on the platform, and maybe the user group is mostly like mid senior people, we can kind of cooperate with these kind of gaming platforms, and maybe we can maybe have the cooperation and add these mini games on the platform.
Okay. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So as I was saying, we can this will be a mini game, like this will be a gaming platform and consist by different mini games, which allow the LA people to play with each other, kind of socialize and making new friends. So in terms of the metrics, I think we still need to have some like metrics to help us see if this launch is successful or not. I would say I want to set the metrics. The first one is we can have like the number of people who sign in or sign up and sign up for this feature. So sorry, so it would be the number. Oops, I have no idea why this is going crazy. So number of users who sign up and sign in. And also I want to set another metric is the number of the daily active users or the weekly active user. Let's see how many users is using this platform, logging this platform, being active on this platform every day or every week. Yeah, and also we can also check the number of users who kind of referred, how many like LA people refer it to their friends, and how many people got referred and registered on this platform. So I think if we look at this kind of matrix, it will really help us to see if we can increase the our goal, which is increase user adoption. Yeah, that's what matrix, what kind of matrix I'm gonna use. Do you have any question for the matrix?
No.
Okay. Yeah, great. So I think I'm just gonna summarize, like ramp up, recap what I have discussed, what we have discussed. So for this game, as I mentioned before, we are gonna focus on the user group who LA people who wanna find a to play this game to make new friends or socialize with their friends together. And this platform, it will be a gaming platform consist by different mini games. The LA people can choose what they want to play, and we'll make it very simple, very straightforward, easy for even the entry level, the first player, because we're gonna have like adding some features like the challenge level for each mini game. We'll have different challenge level, and we'll have like different categories. They can choose the categories they like, and we'll also have like a tutorial video to help these LA people like maybe play this game with more fun. And in the end, we can also look at the metrics, the DAU, daily active user, weekly active user, and the number of users who sign up and sign in on this platform to help us identify if our goal has been increased. Yeah, so that's pretty much all my thoughts. Yeah, do you have any questions for this?
One last question.
Yeah.
So you talk about you talk about targeting the elderly who want to social with others. So whom do you think that the elderly will social with?
Yeah, great question. So first, I would say, like, especially during pandemic, the elder people, they can stay at home. They can just stay at home, especially in China. So if they want to socialize with, if they keep contact with their old friends, they have to make phone call. And so if there's like a video platform, gaming platform, they can just let their friends know, like, hey, do you want to join the game with me? We can play it together. We can have fun. Because they have to stay at home. So maybe this game will provide them another way to socialize with their friends they used to hang out together. Yeah, so yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, got you. Yeah, do you have anything else to add?
No, that's all.
Cool. Yeah, so for overall, I think something good you have done. Like the first one, the communication is pretty clear. I like how you communicate, how you talk about the pain points, and how you structure your ideas. I think communication is definitely a green flag for me. And the second one, throughout your answer, you have great structure, great framework that you follow, very logical. And the third one, in terms of the metrics, first you talk about the goals you want to target, and then you talk about the metrics you want to track. So you do have a growth mindset, and know for user adoption, what are the metrics that you want to follow. And also when you start the answer, you have great clarifying questions. So all of the questions really make sense for me. And the last one, when you talk about user segment, you give me a context of what are the user scenarios. So you talk about, for example, for the elderlies, the kids already have families, they're grown up, and elderlies might need company. And also some of the elderlies might have health problems, so they cannot go outside that frequently to socialize or have fun. So these are the things that I think like all the checkboxes you have checked. And for the things that you could potentially improve, first one, I think you could have digged deeper into their user pain points. This
Yeah,
is the
I feel like the pain points, I didn't choose it very good, and even like the user segments is kind of pretty lame, because like I didn't play any games, so it's kind of hard for me to really think about the pain points.
yeah, it doesn't matter for the games because this is a product sense interview, and I want to see what are the pain points you see from the users you want to target, right? This is the most important thing. I want to see why I'm asking about elderly people, because if you can imagine the pain points from elderly people, then you have a lot of like product sense to understand the other user segments as well. Because for like younger generation, probably it's very hard for them to understand what are the needs from the elderlies. And in this case, I hope that you could dig deeper. You can talk about maybe when you talk, for example, when you talk about social, like you talk about like they probably want to socialize with their old friends. This is the answer you gave me when I asked you that question, right? But you could have pointed out when you talk about why the elderlies want to social with others, right? Why they want a company. Like what are the friends that they probably want to social with? Do they want to social with their families? Do they want to social with their old friends? Can I make sure that their old friends also have smartphone and have access to the game as well? How can I help them to connect with their old friends, right? Or they just want like senior dating, right? They want to form a new family, right? They want to have like a romantic relationship. What kind of socialization are you thinking about, right? And
Yeah.
some other questions I asked, why voice call, right? You could have like think more about why voice call. Nowadays, there are so many apps for elderlies that prioritize voice call or video call more than other features. Why is that, right? Because for elderly, phone call is a very easy user scenario for them, right? They probably don't know how to follow the user tutorial to go through the app, but they could communicate with someone else and complete the process, right? So you could have like explained more. You could have like sympathize the seniors better and to add more background to your pain points.
Yeah, makes sense.
And also, like, I asked you a lot of times, like, what is the game? Like, what game do you want to design? I know you don't have a gaming background, but like, never mind those questions. I just want to give you some pressure. But if I'm thinking like, if it is the real like interview scenario, the interviewer will expect you to at least have some like examples to have, right? You have like plays maybe like Happy Farm kind of games, or some like easy games, right? Like for those easy games that the elderlies might have the like ability to play, you might also heard of them as well. So you can give some examples, right? I don't expect it because I'm Instacart, right? I don't expect you to know the categories of the games, saying like maybe you want to develop a mobile game, right? Or like a very easy like rules single device game. I don't expect you to have those categories, but you could give me more examples to talk about what you want to design. What kind of the games do you want to design? Instead of like talking about the terminology, you can talk about the examples, so it could be more visualized for me.
Yeah.
And one thing about prioritization, I know like for when you talk about the user segments, you talk about prioritization, but when you comes down to the pain points and solution, you didn't talk about how you prioritize different pain points for solutions. One thing that I didn't see is when you especially when you prioritize solutions, you didn't count engineering effort in it. And this is a huge red flag for product managers.
Yes. So for this, I was a little bit confused because I asked you if I was going to prioritize the third solution, and maybe you want me to go deeper in the first one. So if it happens in the interview and the interviewer asked me to maybe go deeper in one of the solutions, should I also like do some prioritization or just like continue the conversation?
First, you need to continue the conversation because that was a question, right? And second, they just want to know more about one specific solution that you talk about. Maybe they're confused about their solution. The reason why I asked you that question is because I cannot quite like how to see the difference between these three solutions. I don't see a difference. I thought you would going to have a combined product with these three solutions combined. So at first I thought like, I want you to elaborate a little bit for the first one, because you just talk about the game, like you want the easy and quick game, but that I cannot make sense of, because how do you define easy, right? How do you find the quick? And what are those games, right? That's why I asked you the first, can you elaborate a little bit for the first solution? But it doesn't mean that you don't need to prioritize.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Yeah, and for the pain points, you probably want to prioritize. For the solutions, also you probably want to prioritize, because one confusion I have is if you prioritize social more than others, I totally understand it is like good for your goal. It is very easy to have network effect and it could expand, go viral easily. But at the same time, if you have social elements, then you will also have identity on your game, right? And login and sign up is very, very, very difficult for seniors. Believe me, I've done my product for them to help them log in and sign up. You cannot imagine how difficult it is for seniors to successfully sign up or log in. If you send a PIN code to their phone, for iPhone, they don't know what is the autofill, right? Even they have a PIN number pin on their on the top of their keyboard, they don't know to click on it and autofill the PIN number. If it is Android phone, they don't know how to switch to the SMS and copy and paste that PIN number, PIN code back. So if you want to develop social elements on this app, you need to have identities on the app, which means that you need to have sign up or log in. It is really necessary, right? Is this really necessary to maybe you only have like 10% or even 20% of success rate while 80% of the seniors just like being blocked by your login wall. It is really necessary. This is the first thing. And the second thing, for login and sign up, it is very hard to develop. It is not as easy as the product features you have for like whatever, like member experience or like the simple game. It is necessary for the seniors to really have this feature, right? If you talk about socialize, do we need them to have identity to socialize? So these are the like points that you probably want to touch on in your answer. But overall, I think you have great skills in terms of communication. And the really like one red flag I saw is you didn't dig deeper into their user need. And you can like have think about this as one of your learnings from this mock interview. Whenever the interviewer asks you about like developing whatever product for senior or for elderly people, they want to see your product sense because they want to see whether young people could sympathize elderly people. So yeah, just keep that in mind.
Good, got it. Yeah, I'll definitely digging deeper. Yeah, I never kind of think kind of like empathy the elderly people before because I never kind of get this kind of question, but this will definitely help me.
Yeah. It's very difficult to sympathize elderly people. And the reason I could like sympathize more is because I really developed an app for elderly people. So I know like how they think
the whole journey, yeah,
and I know how difficult they are to copy and paste that pin code back. So and like the only thing that they know how to use is probably when someone gives them a voice call or a video call that they need to know how to accept that call. So if you like, so that's why like when we have that app, instead of giving them a tutorial, we just directly let the expert to call them. And the same thing happened for login. If they have difficulty logging in, we have a way for them to directly connect or directly call a technician to help them log in. So, but I don't expect you to have similar experience, but at least you could dig deeper and think about what are the day-to-day life they have, and talk about like what kind of game do you want to design for them. Yeah, you could still like some of the ideas I have when you come up your answer. I'm thinking of like you talk about trended games. Can we think about maybe just an app to help them connect with each other? But if they want to like have fun together or want to play a game, this is actually an offline game, right? It's just a gaming app. We don't need to have the game really like all the game online, right? This is one. And the second, and another confusion I have talking about this is when I ask you, whom are they social with? Are they going to social with? You talk about maybe like the seniors are staying at home, right? And you said especially in China. You're targeting users in the United States. How can you say especially in China?
I got panic. I realized I shouldn't say that, but I got panic. I just like, yeah, that's a good catch for sure.
No problem, but no need to be nervous, and you need to have a conversation with the interviewer. If you feel confused about this question or you don't have that much of a background, just feel free to ask questions to the interviewer. It's going to be fine. The interviewer wants you to be like a fellow product manager or like fellow APM that could work with them. So make it a conversation instead of like you having a sheet of answers for the interviewer to approve.
Okay, got it.
Any other questions?
I think that's all. Really appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.